Hi guys, welcome back, and I'm recording this video before I come back from my Christmas hiatus. If I sound off, I'm actually quarantining at the moment, and I'm just coming off being ill. I'm feeling loads better before anyone asks or anything. I'm doing good, but I just wanted to record, and I had actually written a few scripts while being ill, so I have a few videos to record audio for, so I might sound a little rough in some of them. I might sound perfectly fine, I don't really know. Anyway, the story I want to cover today is what if Goku married Bulma? Now, I know this has been done a lot over the time that what ifs have come around, and I know some big names have done their own takes on it. I haven't watched all of them. Hand on heart, the only one I have watched is Mass Collect's variation of this, and I enjoyed it. I must say, it was very different. It was a bit sad to see it didn't go in Super, but I understand why. And with that all being said, I want to do my own take on this story. It's something I like. It's Bulma, who is one of the better characters in Dragon Ball, so I'm hoping that me throwing my hat in the ring will do okay at it. So let's get going. Of course, I have to make a change somewhere, and I've thought about it for a while, and the change I want to make is going back to the days where Grandpa Gohan and Goku would live together. We see some changes in Grandpa Gohan and his raising of Goku. In this timeline, Gohan would explain the idea of love, marriage, and females much better than he did in canon. He would do this because he was sad. He's sad he never had a family. He's sad he never settled down with a girl he loved, never found the one, never got married. So he wants to give Goku a chance to marry and have family of his own. And to do this, he makes sure that Goku understands these ideas better, and actually spends some time in cities with Goku. The boy has better social skills because of this. They're nowhere near the level that Bulma would have per se, but he's years ahead of his canon self. And with all of this, it gets an idea to the boy of why people get married, and helps him kind of have a desire almost to get married. After all, he's seen how happy some people look married. He also is a bit more normal. He can basically pick apart the genders at first glance, thankfully. And thanks to all of this, Goku does understand love, marriage, and females better. He's also more chivalrous thanks to some more teachings from Gohan. And as time goes on, unfortunately Gohan does die, and Goku spends the rest of his time, at least until he meets Bulma, up in Mount Paozu alone. Now, the normal story of Dragon Ball would play out. Of course, the interaction Goku and Bulma would share at the start is slightly different. Goku was taught to be respectful to girls in a much different way than he was in canon. He's quite caring and nice to her, helping her out when he can, but still refuses to give her the Dragon Ball, where we see some things play out like normal. Now, for the most part, all of Dragon Ball will go normal, but I will cover some small changes. All of the weird perverted gags with Goku and Bulma are gone, thankfully, and also Goku can differentiate the two genders a lot better, meaning we lose the pat pat gag. So instead of having this weird nature to him, Bulma just sees Goku as this funny and caring kid, and this leads to her taking an interest in Goku. At first, she just thinks it's being friendly, and soon they almost become like family to one another, as the two don't really realise what's being built up below this. Of course, Goku is still slow and dumb, and does annoying things, but Bulma just actually finds that quite endearing, and Goku finds Bulma quite interesting, finding her intelligence very cool, and actually having a better understanding of women in this timeline, does care about things she says now and again. Now, one other small change happens, and this is thanks to Goku's better knowledge of marriage and love. It would be him declining Chi-Chi's offer to marry the girl. Thanks to him understanding everything better, he explains how he doesn't know her, and he apologises for it, but maybe another time? And this reignites something in Chi-Chi. Getting the idea that there's a chance helps drive her, and she wants to join Goku on his adventure, but after having lost her home, she decides to stay with her father for now. Time passes, and Goku eventually goes off to train with Roshi, where he is joined by Chi-Chi. She knew that Goku would come here eventually, so after Ox King had got on his feet a little bit, she had come here to wait for him, and actually had started doing some training of some sorts. Goku would come to see the girl as a close friend, and once Krillin joins, the trio are amazing training partners, and there's probably a funny little dynamic where Krillin kind of finds Chi-Chi cute, but Chi-Chi's only interested in Goku, and it's just this whole thing that Goku kind of isn't interested in either of them, other than being his friends. Now, thanks to there being 3 of them, they are actually a bit stronger. However, I find it redundant that the small power increase they would get from training like this to cover every battle. So, for the sake of keeping things simple, every fight plays the same, but Goku holds his ground a little bit better. Now, eventually the tournament would come round, and Bulma does come, and she cheers on Goku, quite hard actually. And things start to play out much more like canon. There's very minor changes which I'm going to cover quickly. And this being things between Goku and Bulma. When Goku goes to visit Bulma after the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, he remembers her name and isn't as lost in the city and is able to find the Capsule Corp building almost on his own, but with some help from the policeman. And once Goku's at Capsule Corp, he spends a bit more time around the building, with Bulma, more specifically. Of course, the fridge being full of food does help a little bit, but for the most part he's there to spend some time with Bulma. Now, things play out like normal through the Red Ribbon arc. Nothing changes in this, except maybe his interaction with Grandpa Gohan, where the man actually explains how he found someone in heaven he quite likes, and she's a lovely woman. But other than that, nothing really changes. With things moving on, Goku goes to explore the world, and he actually finds himself stopping by Bulma's once or twice during his trip. The woman is happy to see him, and of course, Goku is as well. Of course, the elephant in the room would be Bulma and Yamcha's relationship. However, Bulma, not really realising she has feelings for Goku, kind of rejects Yamcha, not really knowing why. So, things keep playing out like normal through the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai and the King Piccolo arc, and they go similar with no changes. Throughout the tournament, Bulma does cheer harder for Goku than anyone, but I've already mentioned this, so let's move on. Now, the final arc of Dragon Ball is where our major changes occur, well, at least compared to every other arc. So, the first change off would actually be during the 3 years of training. Near the end, Goku finds himself missing all of his friends a lot, but he realises how much he misses Bulma. It's actually quite unreal to him. As gears slowly start turning in Goku's head, he realises he has those feelings his grandpa was telling him about, and he starts thinking to himself that maybe this is what he was meant to feel, this is that feeling, and he decides that next time he sees Bulma, he's gonna tell her. At Capsule Corp, we see Bulma sort of realising, but not quite clicking with her. Remember, she's always viewed Goku as a child, so having romantic feelings for her is kind of weird. So she just thinks she misses her friend a lot, and keeps on working. Now, the first meeting between Goku and Bulma at the tournament plays out very different. You see, once Goku is revealed to be who he is, he actually makes Bulma a bit flustered. You see, this is the first time she would see him as an adult, much like I had mentioned just a few seconds ago. She'd always seen him as a kid, and he's a full-grown man now, and it's caught her off guard completely. The interaction between Goku and Bulma is a bit weird. Bulma is trying to catch herself. After all, she wasn't quite ready for this, and has actually turned away to try and adjust her makeup even a little bit. As Goku is slightly confused, tries to figure out how to say how he feels. He's a bit more socially inept here, and he doesn't want to just blurt it out. He kind of wants it to be somewhat romantic, but this is a lot for a Saiyan to do, and Goku's nature is really pulling him away from doing it, whereas his mind and heart are kind of trying to help him. Roshi, feeling how awkward it is, cuts the pair off and starts saying how much Goku has grown, and things start to go like normal. However, of course, Chi-Chi, being a Z fighter, actually shows up with everyone else, and the tournament starts. Things go normal, up until Goku vs Chi-Chi, where the announcer goes to call out the fight. Chi-Chi tries her luck again, asking Goku to marry her, but the Saiyan looks at her, and says, "I'm sorry, Chi-Chi, but I can't marry you." Chi-Chi looks sad, asking why almost. As Goku explains, "When I was younger, my grandpa explained love and romance to me. I didn't get it at all when I was a kid. However, when I was training with Kami, I realized that the way I was supposed to feel towards someone I loved, I had these feelings already. And I unfortunately don't feel this way towards you, Chi-Chi. I was always taught to marry someone who I would consider my best friend. And you are an amazing friend. You just aren't my best friend. I do hope you understand." Right at the end of saying this, Goku turns his head slightly towards Bulma, but soon returns to looking at Chi-Chi, understanding that she is a fighter, and he is willing to have this battle, but the woman declines, and calls the fight off. Goku continues with no problems, however Chi-Chi's left sad. The Saiyan does try to comfort her, but she's not all for talking to him right now. Krillin and the others do help out a little bit, as Bulma is relieved after watching this. She and Chi-Chi are friends, but she just can't explain why she was happy, almost, when she saw that Goku rejected her. And it's slowly coming together in Bulma's mind that she actually has feelings for Goku. Now the rest of the tournament goes like canon, and this is the only time I'll mention it. The fight against Piccolo might end a bit sooner than it did in canon, thanks to Goku having been slightly stronger from the start. But for the most part, the battle is completely the same. Goku just almost wins a bit easier. That's all. Now with this done, thanks to Goku not needing to go off and marry with Chi-Chi, the group decide to head off with a meal, like they always do. Chi-Chi does tag along, but she's not all there at the moment. Throughout the whole meal, she's quiet, while everyone else listens to what Goku's training was like. And after they have finished eating, people start getting ready to head home. Goku, seeing his chance, offers to give Bulma a lift home back on Nimbus, saying how it will be faster. The scientist is confused, but happily takes the offer, with Goku giving Bulma a ride back to Capsule Corp. He does take a bit of a detour, and Bulma's confused by this, as she does know Goku knows the way to Capsule Corp from here. At least she's pretty sure, as Goku takes her to some nice mountain, one probably not too far from Mount Paozu, where he says he just wanted to stop by and watch the sunset, if that's alright with her. The woman's happy to do so, as she jumps down with Goku. After all, she can't actually ride the Nimbus, she has to hold on to Goku for dear life. And the two begin to watch the sunset, where Goku finally reveals how he feels towards Bulma. Probably in a really awkward way, and very blunt, and straight to the point. It's still Goku, and he's still a Saiyan, but he's made an effort at least, thanks to his, bit more better upbringing with this sort of stuff. And once hearing all of this, Bulma blushes at Goku's comment, as the fighter begins to explain how he feels, and kind of in a roundabout way proposes to her. Taken aback, Bulma realises that she does have these feelings. This is the moment for her where she fully clicks, and she kind of agrees to this somewhat sort of proposal. The two hug one another, but Bulma decides that they should keep it secret for a little bit. It's a way to avoid upsetting Chi-Chi, and also gives them a bit of time to spend around one another, just a bit more one-on-one. Goku's happy to do this, and decide not to announce it to the group for a while. And as time passes, the group slowly start learning one by one, just naturally. Stuff like Krillin going round to see Goku at Mount Paozu, and Bulma being there is kind of a red flag to the fighter, who eventually starts figuring it all out. He's not an idiot. And this would lead to them all finding out, but all of them already kind of knew who Goku was talking about back at the tournament. They are happy for them, and even Chi-Chi, who has come to terms with everything between her and Goku, with her now setting on her eyes on another possible husband, who she knows quite well. Now, with this all being done, the pair get married at Capsule Corp, keeping things low-key and only inviting their close friends. With the wedding done, the pair start their life together, a few months after Goku and Chi-Chi would have, where they would often find themselves living at Capsule Corp. Bulma builds Goku a room to train in, where he can go all out without having to worry about anyone getting hurt, with Bulma often encouraging Goku to go train, so she can work in peace and quiet in the lab. But when Bulma falls pregnant, they decide to actually head out to Mount Paozu to live out at Goku's old home, with Bulma adding some upgrades and adding a lab, and some more techie bits, and they spend some time out there. At least Bulma's time pregnant. Goku loves it, since when Bulma's in the lab, he heads off out into the mountain and does some old school training, like he used to. After a few months, Bulma would give birth, and this is where my major change compared to other What If YouTubers might occur. She gives birth to both Gohan and Trunks. The pair have twins. Bulma, of course, would allow Goku to name Gohan after his grandfather, since the importance of the man to the fighter is known. I understand that this change is going to change a lot in the story, but it saved me a headache in having to decide which one came first, and also gives my story a bit of variation to what other What Ifs have done. Now, the family live quite happily together, with them spending a split amount of time between both Capsule Corp and Mount Paozu. Most of their time is spent at Capsule Corp, with both Trunks and Gohan enjoying this. They love spending their time between both buildings, since when they're at Capsule Corp they have more toys and things to play with, but when they're out in the woods they get to go out and run it around in the wild. It's quite good for them. Now, both boys are pretty smart in their own right, and they spend some time learning with their mother. However, they also take an interest in martial arts, much like their father, and after a short conversation, Bulma sees no harm in the boys' training. After all, one of them will inherit the company, and the other will probably also work around the building as well. So she sees no issue with both of them getting some training in. It also means that they get to spend some more time with their sons, and the pair love this idea. Now, of course, we would see a bit of a character change in both Trunks and Gohan, so I want to cover this very briefly. We'll start with Gohan, who would be the smarter one out of the two. Much like his canon self, he loves learning, whenever it be available, whether it's science or martial arts. The young boy often spends his free time working in a laboratory with his mother and granddad, but he also does go away to train with his father and brother, and thanks to this, Gohan isn't as quiet. Remember, he has someone to talk to his own age, so he is actually a bit of a chatterbox almost. However, he's also got a bit of a short fuse. He gets angry at really stupid things when he can't figure something out, or when he's being pushed around a little bit too much. And he can get angry over a bit more selfish things. He still is a kind-hearted kid, and that hasn't changed, but he's just a bit more selfish. Trunks, on the other hand, has lost his bratty attitude, thanks to some influence from Goku. The boy becomes a lot more humble. He's also super smart for someone his age, however the kid is a bit lazy with it, and doesn't spend too much time studying, at least when his mother's not making him, which she doesn't do often. It's just to make sure his grades stay up. However, even though he's lazy, he enjoys playing around and often tries to just annoy his brother. Of course, it's all meant in good spirits, and the two are very close, but when Gohan's in the lab working on something, Trunks might sometimes run by just to annoy him, which Trunks sometimes finds funny, and then doesn't very fast when his brother snaps a little bit. Trunks has very much inherited his father's funny side, but it's very different to how Goku's humour is. However, the family gets along perfectly, even though Trunks can be a bit annoying and Gohan can be a bit angry occasionally. They all get along perfectly fine, and Goku and Bulma's relationship is very healthy. And thanks to Bulma being involved in relationship, all of their friends know the pair have a set of kids. Most of them haven't met the kids, so when the reunion at Kame House is being held, of course the team happily agrees to go, with all of the Son of family being present. Everyone's present, even Chi-Chi. She's very much part of the group, and over the 5 years she has come to accept everything which happened, and is in love with the two boys. She hasn't quite got around to getting married herself yet. After all, after everything which happened with Goku, she's decided she wants to take things a bit slower. Make sure her and the person she decides is going to be her husband actually like one another. And she also finds it a bit embarrassing how everything happened between her and Goku. So, she's just trying to take it a bit slower, truly. Of course, there is an obvious bit of flirtation between her and Krillin, which Goku actually points out privately to his wife. Bulma has to take a double look to see it, but she can notice it, and is kind of surprised her husband picked up on it. But like I said, this Goku's actually pretty clicked on when it comes to social cues like this, and having lived with Bulma for the last few years, he's definitely getting it now. Now, things during the celebration go well. Everyone get to meet Trunks and Gohan as the pair tear apart Kame House. Of course, they aren't rude or disrespectful, and actually are just very nice and having fun running around the beach. Things play out mostly the same. Up until Raditz's arrival, all of it goes pretty normal. Goku learns he's a Saiyan, learns that Raditz is his brother. Raditz learns that Gohan and Trunks are the son of his brother, and actually also learns that Bulma is his brother's wife. A lot to take in. He's meeting all the family in one shot. And Bulma can't help but find it almost funny that she's married to an alien. Now, things start to play out like normal. Krillin does get hit, however he takes it a bit better. Not only has he started from a stronger point, he's also had Chi-Chi to train with a little bit. So he's probably, instead of having a power level of 206, he's probably holding a power level of 250, 40-ish. Not a huge increase, don't get me wrong. However, it's definitely enough that this blow hurts a lot less. And of course, seeing this, Goku would go to attack. And here he's stronger. And to keep things simple, Goku's holding a power level of like 525. This is 100-ish points ahead of where he would be in canon. But remember, he's actively been encouraged to train by Bulma. He started from a higher point, and he's also had Gohan and Trunks to train with for the last few months. So they are actively helping him with these small increases throughout the story. Now, with Raditz obviously making himself known as a threat, Goku gets ready to fight. And Chi-Chi also gets ready as well. Her friend was just hurt, and they're about to hurt the people that she likes and sees as family almost. As just to cover this as well, Chi-Chi has probably got a power level of about 206. In canon, she had a power level of 130 with her own sort of training. So here we're just going to say, to keep things simple, that's around her power level. She's got about the same as Canon Krillin would have. With a battle clearly about to break out, this is where I'm going to leave this part right before it. I know it's a bit of an arsehole thing to do, and I apologise, but my throat is really starting to kill me now, and I don't have much more script left. It's just brief stuff I can cover at the beginning of the next part, and then we can go into the Saiyan Saga. I do hope people like this. I do hope people enjoyed the fact I've differentiated it from the original timeline by having Trunks and Gohan be twins. I felt like that would give my own twist on it, however other what if YouTubers could. But hey, hopefully this makes my story a bit more unique. If someone hasn't done it, that makes it awesome. But with that all being said, I do hope people enjoyed this part, and I've got another new what if I want to do. For those who are still here, with the reveal of everything which is happening in the most recent manga panels, an epiphany came to me while reading the newest chapter, which I can't remember the name of currently. The number of, not the name. And it has something to do with all the characters present there and the planet itself. So I'm hoping that people are like the idea. I'm not going to reveal it, but you've got an idea, and I think people will like it. I haven't finished the script for it yet, and renders are going to be a bitch to get, but I'll figure it out. With that all being said, though, I hope people enjoy. Have a great day or a good night, and hopefully I'll see you next time.